Hey folks, Red Labor here. Hope you're having a great evening. I want to talk about racism, the right, the left, and running against the grain of logic. It is no mystery that the left has been genuinely and consistently pretty much involved in racial justice. That's equality between blacks, whites, and other ethnicities. It's one of the key issues that the left embrace, whether you're part of the moderate left or the radical left. Well, and this is not even to suggest that if you're a conservative or even an ultra conservative that you have issues with people of color. That I mean, and I'm not going to go there. I mean, I don't believe when I throw around the allegation of bigotry, racism, or what have you. I don't throw around that term lightly. But I will, sure as hell, address people on the right when they accuse the left of being racist. It'll go something like this. I hear modern day people in the conservative movement will be like they'll use the term liberal plantation mentality or poverty pimps, that sort of thing, and as if welfare was designed for racial minorities. Welfare was designed for people, regardless of color. It's the most race neutral thing you can imagine. I mean, it was not intended to cater to one ethnic group or what have you. So, I mean, I get a little tired of hearing that. And when I hear the Rush Limbaughs of the world, and people like that refer to a liberal slave mentality, Rush Limbaugh, who is a racist, and as I said, I don't throw around the term lightly. No, I don't think Sean Hannity's a racist. I don't think that Glenn Beck is a racist. As crazy as he is, and some people on the left are going to disagree with me and have a hard time figuring this out. I don't even think Michael Savage is a racist. But I do think Rush Limbaugh is a racist. And when he uses the term liberal plantation mentality, and people like him uses that term, I'm befuddled. Because, and especially when I hear a Southern Republican talking like this, because it'll be something along the lines of, you're pretty much saying to African Americans and anybody else who is not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant that if they take a left-wing position, a progressive position, or even vote for the ineptly liberal Democratic Party, that they're somehow just not with it, and they're just stupid or what have you. And that's insulting to people in the groups that do vote for, Democrats or support liberal causes or what have you. And there are minorities who are conservative, and there are minorities that will vote Republican, and there are minorities that supports the Tea Party movement. And they're not stupid for supporting those ideas because they're a minority. I mean, I would take issue with white people embracing some of the crazy positions that's advocated by the Tea Party. So my criticism of the Tea Party has more to do with just crazy ideas than this blanket indictment of racism. It exists in the Tea Party, but I don't think it motivates the Tea Party for the most part, and I would even say that most people in the Tea Party are not racist. But, think about it this way. Think about it this way. You look at, I hate to use the two-party system because as a lightning rod in this debate, because I mean I don't particularly support the two-party system, but still needs to be made as an example. And the Democratic Party in the South were pieces of shit that supported Jim Crow. And when I hear Republicans talk about, well, it was Democrats that supported segregation in the South, well, some of those Democrats became Republicans. And I do not believe that when they became Republicans that they changed their idea and they were all for civil rights. There is a reason why Mississippi and Alabama, in Georgia and South Carolina consistently vote Republican since the civil rights. They were voting Democrats until the Democrats, for the most part, championed the cause of civil rights. And to be fair, there were many Republicans too. Majority of the Republicans supported the civil rights around that time period. I would have to say, like for example, in 1960, when Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy were running against each other, both then were committed to civil rights. I mean, and it was the U.S. Supreme Court under Chief Justice Earl Warren, a Republican, that desegregated the schools with the Brown versus Board of Education decision. And it was President Eisenhower, a Republican, that appointed Earl Warren as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And that was the best court in modern time. It expanded civil liberties more than any other court ever. Ironic that it was a Republican justice that was involved with that. Certainly didn't happen later on, and even the judges that Clinton and Obama appointed are probably not as far forward-seeing civil libertarians as Earl Warren was when he was alive. So, folks, I'm not out here to bash Republicans or what have you. But I'm going to call it like I see it. You know, Jesse Helms was a racist as a Democrat in the South prior to civil rights. He became a Republican after civil rights. Strom Thurmond was a Democrat prior to the civil rights movement when there was segregation. After segregation was gone, Strom Thurmond became a Republican. Trent Lott was for segregation as a Democrat. He still was for segregation when he became a Republican. And as much as I'm not a fan of Newt Gingrich, when Newt Gingrich ran for Congress in the 70s, he ran as a Republican, as a champion of civil rights, whereas his Democratic opponent was a Jim Crow segregationist Democrat. So I'm not out there to sit there and just lash on Republicans. But what I am saying is that when I hear people like Rush Limbaugh, and I hear people in the Tea Party movement, and I hear people, you know, used to want to go and turn around and throw the term racism at progressives, doesn't wash. It doesn't wash. Labor unions, living wage jobs, public services are not designed for a minority group. They're designed for all Americans, regardless. And our priority as a society is to lift the poor into the middle class. And that's what I have to say about this whole matter. So, you know, get out of here with this you're a liberal, you're a racist mentality from some of you folks on the right. Get out of here with that. That's just not the case. Take care.